Folks, welcome to the program. This, of course, is Stinchfield, the podcast. I am here to offer you up a very important warning. Gavin Newsom may be the most dangerous Democrat Republicans could face in the presidential election come 2024. This guy is slick. He is sly. Yes, he's a liar. Yes, his policies are awful. But when it comes to the white liberal woman, one of the most dangerous creatures on earth, Gavin Newsom is, someone they look to, someone they're attracted to, someone they would embrace, and someone they do embrace. Gavin Newsom right now is doing more fighting for the Democrat Party than most Republicans are for the Republican Party. Of course, I'm excluding President Trump in that. He has been phenomenal. There's a few other Republicans out there that have been phenomenal, but for the most part, Gavin Newsom is bringing a fight to this redistricting deal, this fight to control Congress, that Republicans need to take a page out of his book. He's riling up his base. He is rallying the troops. All of it leads me to believe that if you're outside of California, see, Californians know what Gavin Newsom really is. A governor with a failed state, failed policies, failed economy, failed everything. But if you're in Virginia, you see a slick, good-looking guy who speaks with a forked tongue, and that makes him very, very dangerous. So do not discount Gavin Newsom. That's what this podcast is about today, and we'll go through some of the reasons why, and we'll also go through how we fight him in his quest to change the California Constitution to redistrict California in an effort to win the United States Congress in favor of Democrats. So we'll talk about that today. Before we do, though, I want to tell you about my friends over at Colonial Metals Group. Listen, there is no doubt that BRICS nations like Iran, Russia, the other bad actors are all waging a flat-out war on the American dollar. They want to crush the American dollar. What stands in its way of that? Well, one, President Trump. Two, gold. Gold is a great asset when it comes to protecting your portfolio from this type of chaos. Now, I want you to think about this as well. The United States, though we are doing a good job of starting the process of cutting spending, we are nowhere near where we need to be when it comes to that. And because we still spend like drunken sailors means that the price of gold will continue to rise. Start hoarding this asset to protect your portfolio. Colonial Metals Group can help you do that. The website is freegoldguide.com. That's freegoldguide.com/grant. freegoldguide.com/grant. Or call them at 800-458-7356, 800-458-7356. Get your guide to owning gold in the Trump era today. It's a real great guide at that, and it'll show you all the reasons why you need to be making this part of your portfolio. You can click on the QR code or shoot a picture of the QR code on your screen as well. With that, let's get this show started.
Uncensored and unapologetic. This is Stinchfield. Here's your host, Grant Stinchfield.
Did you see Gavin Newsom? Gavin Newsom, folks, may be the most dangerous Democrat that we have to face as Republicans. Now, I know this is going to irk all of you, and I know that all of you living here in California know that he is deceitful. You know that he's slimy. You know that everything he has done has failed California. Every move he has made life harder for you. And yet, here I am putting him at the top of the list as the Democratic choices for governor. Now, how do I put Gavin Newsom at the top of the list when he is going to have to answer for California, the failed state that this state is? Well, I put him at the top of the list because the guy is smart. Now, he's not smart when it comes to policy, and I'm not even sure how much he believes of the nonsense that he pushes. I mean this. I actually think from watching some of his interviews when he sits down with, Hannity and Charlie Kirk and others, that I don't even know how much this guy really believes that he will do anything for power. And power to him means money. And I think he goes right along with the same model that the Bidens, the Clintons, and the Obamas have. They're going to make wild profits off of their positions of power. But he's a smart guy when it comes to politics. He's a smart guy when it comes to putting up this fight and taking Texas on head on, making enemy number one Donald Trump. What has this done? I thought that Gavin Newsom was behind, down and out, knocked down a few times after his crazy conservative podcast stunts. It did not play well with his base. But you know what does play well with his base? Taking on President Trump. As ridiculous as it sounds to all of us, but it riles his base. He knows exactly what he's doing by this. So, you know what else riles his base? Taking on Texas head on. So Texas is going to redistrict. They're going to add 5 new Republican seats. Gavin Newsom, to push back, says, well, we're going to redistrict. And we're going to redistrict more Democrat seats in California. To do this, he's got to get a special election. He pounced into action. You know how hard it is to get a special election done? By all accounts, he has about 2 weeks to be able to make this happen. Well, let me tell you something. The left-wing legislature is going to fall right in line and vote this through. I have no doubt that he's going to get this through unless Republicans double spring into action and hold this up in all kinds of lawsuits. And we're going to talk about that as well and some of the things that they can do. But the first thing that I want all of you to realize, okay, is that the rest of the country does not know what Californians know. They don't know how bad Gavin Newsom is. They see this handsome man with the slick hair who pushes back against Trump, who talks with a forked tongue, but does it in a way that he sucks people in. The guy's a snake. But snakes in politics are very, very dangerous. Listen to him yesterday at his news conference. This is cut 7. Roll it.
I think it's pretty sick and pathetic. And it just said everything you need to know, the setting that we're under. That they chose the time, manner, and place to send their district director outside right when we're about to have this press conference. Said everything you know about Donald Trump's America. And that was top down. You know that for a fact. They'll deny it, I'm sure. Maybe they won't deny it. Said everything you know about the authoritarian tendencies of the President of the United States. I said in a moment ago, wake up, America. Wake up. You will not have a country if he rigs this election. You will have a president who will be running for a 3rd term. Mark my word. I wasn't exaggerating when I said that I received in the mail a Trump 2028 hat from one of his biggest supporters. These guys are not screwing around. The rules do not apply to him. The most corrupt president in history.
All right. First off, somebody sending him a Trump 2028 hat is brilliant. Okay, I love it. That's called triggering him, and he knows that Trump isn't going to run for a 3rd term. I wish he could. He can't, though, and we know he can't. It's not going to happen. All right, anybody that thinks it is, you're wrong. But do you see what he did there? He just did what I did to all of you. He gave the same warning about Trump, who's not even running, because he wants you to think that he is, because he wants him to be running against Trump, that I gave about him. This guy's dangerous. He's a threat. All of these things. Why do I give the warning about Gavin Newsom? Because he is. Now, let me explain to you how politics works. So, Newsom holds this news conference, and Trump and Tom Homan and the ICE folks and Kristi Noem are brilliant. They upstage him by sending Border Patrol agents and ICE outside of the event. It's brilliant. Trump's base is going to love it. You know what we're claiming? Victory. But in many respects, it played into the hands of Newsom, because you know what the Democrats are claiming? Victory. They're claiming they can use this as look at the overreach of President Trump and how dare they come to a political event and round up illegal aliens. I say round up illegal aliens wherever they are. If you're here illegally, you got to get round up. But we have to understand how people think. Gavin Newsom has to get through a Democrat primary. He just got more ammunition. And it's okay that President Trump gave him ammunition because President Trump's not running against Gavin Newsom. But I will tell you, that's the last guy I want any of our candidates running against. And I know many of you probably think I'm crazy. 855-785-8255. That's 855-785-8255. This is Gavin Newsom on ICE, cut 6. Cut 6.
And right outside, at this exact moment, are dozens and dozens of ICE agents. Donald Trump, you think it's coincidental? Donald Trump and his minions, Tom Homan, tough guy.
Now pause,
Totally
keep pause
decided,
it right there, Dan. Is that possible?
coincidentally, or
You know. All right, only 3 seconds left. Gavin Newsom calling Tom Homan a tough guy. Now, do you think Gavin Newsom wants to tussle with Tom Homan? And I'm sure Tom Homan's a lot older than Gavin Newsom, but my Lord. Tom Homan would wipe the pavement with Gavin Newsom. I'm not sure that's a guy you want to be standing your toughness next to and comparing it to. Now, again, do you see what happened? Both sides win on this. Both sides win. Let's go out to Scott from the high desert on line 1. What say you, Scott?
Hey, good morning, Grant. Just 2 quick points about the Gavin thing yesterday. Gavin Newsom knows, just like Kamala Harris knew, that the voter rolls are pretty much 95% clean in California. And Gavin doesn't care about Texas. He doesn't care about the immigration raid, which was a genius move by the Trump admin. Karen Bass flipping out on the 5 o'clock news was just pure gold. But what Gavin's really worried about is running in 2028 and losing California. That's 3.1 million votes are gone in California and cleansed from the rolls. They don't have the pool of votes to draw from and cure ballots for a month and a half after Election Day. So what a magnificent final nail in this guy's political coffin would it be to see him win the primary, go on to compete against J.D. Vance, and then lose the presidency because the state that he governed voted
Scott,
against him. Yes,
Scott,
sir.
you are a very smart guy. You're one of our best callers. You
Yes, sir.
honestly believe that Gavin Newsom, running as the nominee in the Democrat Party, loses California to J.D. Vance?
Well, the political, all the litigation's been played out. The Mark Elias voter stuff it's gone full circle, right? Many states were forced to clean their rolls. Kamala Harris didn't run in California,
Buddy,
because she knew she couldn't win.
These voter rolls are not clean. These voter
Hey, dude,
rolls
I'm
are
telling
still
you,
is okay. Well, here's the thing, Scott. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, and I got great respect for you, so I'll take what you say, and I'll consider it for 100%. You're good. You're a great caller, but I'm also right 95% of the time. I'm telling you, Republicans are going to get smoked in California. I hate to break the news to you. These voter rolls are not clean. They are not clean at all. And if you think they're cleaned up, sadly, you're sadly mistaken. Scott, I appreciate the phone call as always. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so. Folks, listen to me. Democrats have such a grip on this state. If you think that somehow these voter rolls are cleaned up, that they put all these people off the voter rolls, or somehow they're not going to be able to rig elections anymore in California, who's going to be watching them? They don't let people in to even see the counting. They'll tell you they do, but they don't. We don't even have enough Republicans to go in and watch where we want to watch anyway. This is going to be a disaster. And if you think Gavin Newsom's going to lose California as running as a Republican, my Lord, come on. And I think he knows better than that. I think. Paul in Sherman Oaks, real quick, what say you?
Hey, Grant, good morning. Real quick, everyone thinks that Gavin Newsom is going to be running alone. He's going to face a field of contenders if and when he runs for president. And one of those contenders he's going to face is the smarmy white Obama, governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro.
Yeah.
And that guy is slick. He is literally the white Obama. And
Yeah.
people are just forgetting about him. Once they see a comparison on stage of a good-looking guy who can actually speak, and then Gavin Newsom, who is so cringy and can't even say a word without moving his shoulders and moving his hands with that slick action, it won't take the American people or the entire country to know how bad he is. His contenders will bring out how bad he is.
Well,
so we don't have to worry about it. We'll let the field of contenders take care of him.
I hope you're right. And Paul, thank you for the call. So you're right. You got Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania. You got Wes Moore out of Maryland, another young black version of Obama, who will be a formidable foe. But, you know, the biggest downfall to America today is the white liberal woman, okay? Literally destroying America before our eyes. The white liberal woman, you watch, you're going to flock to Gavin Newsom. And remember, we're in California, so we know the real Gavin Newsom. You go to New York, you go even where Shapiro is in Pennsylvania, they don't know the real Gavin Newsom. All right, we're going to talk about how Republicans can fight back against redistricting. Is there a possibility to go after this when it comes to the law and stop this plan from happening before it gets off the ground? I think there is. We're going to talk to a California state representative next. All right, I want to tell you folks about my friends over at Energized Health. EnergizedHealth.com. EnergizedHealth.com. This is about intracellular hydration. I lost 15 pounds the moment I started the Energized Health program. It took me 2 weeks to do it, and I've kept it off. It's been fabulous. My energy went up. My joint pain went down. My blood pressure went down. My testosterone levels went up. Everything moving in the correct direction thanks to intracellular hydration. What is it? There's a masterclass on the website, EnergizedHealth.com. That's EnergizedHealth.com. I urge you to watch it. Plus, there's hundreds of testimonials. People talking about taking their life back. Is it about losing weight? Yes, in many respects. It's about, I like to say, losing fat, because in the end, you'll start building muscle as well. But yes, it's about losing weight. If you have to lose 200, 250 pounds, Energized Health can help you do it, and they have done that. Maybe you just need to tighten things up. Maybe you want a quality of life and you want your energy back and a clear mind. All of this comes through intracellular hydration. Again, EnergizedHealth.com. That's EnergizedHealth.com. Go there, pay a visit to the website, see what they can do for you. And when you sign up for this, make sure you tell them that Grant Stinchfield sent you. Talking about Gavin Newsom, I believe the most dangerous Democrat Republicans will face. I know many of you disagree with me. I want to get out to the phones. Antoinette from Sunset Beach, what say you, my friend?
Hey, Greg. Good morning, my love. Godspeed to all the gang going to Alaska on that cruise. And Jen, have a blast. Don't worry about us. We'll handle Grant here at this end.
I'm sure you guys will.
Hey, listen, I'm sorry, Scott, but Grant is 1,000% correct. This whole thing of our voter rolls here in California, it's corrupt. It hasn't been cleaned up. It is a freaking mess. And Don Wagner, the head of the Board of Supervisors in Orange County, is full of crap as well. An acquaintance of mine, she's had a 4-year lawsuit against that man, and there's a few other people here in Orange County that have not cleaned the voter rolls. As for Gavin Newsom, yeah, he's going to get California, but you know who I think is going to beat his butt? AOC. I'll tell you, and she's not Caucasian. She's a Latina, which is embarrassing to me, totally. But she's got her war chest and people pretty much confused and on her side too. So that's another person that Gavin Newsom, yeah, he's got that look and that speech, but there's going to be a few stumbling blocks, and we're using the higher power and enough of us here throughout the United States that are going to make him stumble and fall. He looks good right now, but we're going to fight it as best we can, Grant. And you have a great rest of the week coming up next week, Grant. Love you.
Well, thank you so much, Antoinette. Right back at you. I believe Antoinette is correct. Now, I will say this about Don Wagner. He did come up with some situations where we could be matching who's dead, who's not dead, who should be on these voter rolls and who shouldn't by getting a couple agencies to talk to each other, and those agencies are not talking to each other, and he's been arguing that they should be talking to each other. So we'll see how that plays out. But I'm with you. The voter rolls are most certainly not cleaned up in California. The Democrats still control everything. Republicans are way behind in all of this. And until we take positions of power, it's going to be hard to get in front of it. And how are we going to get positions of power if the thing is rigged? I want to go out to Paul from the city of Orange. Paul, what say you?
Good morning. I have a very interesting experience that I want to share. And I went to renew my driver's license most recently within the last week, and it was like the Comedy Hour burlesque show because I'm a citizen. I want to get a real ID, and I go to the counter, and first you have to fill out your application online. And online you have to say whether you're a Democrat or Republican, whether you're a citizen or not a citizen. And then when you show up, they want to see your original documents. And if you're a citizen, they want to see an original birth certificate or a certified copy. But if you just get a regular driver's license, you are a citizen and you're a Democrat, and they front-loaded the system to the point that the Democrats have a distinct advantage because all of the illegals are getting driver's licenses, which give them the right to vote. And so for the regular citizen, this is like a comedy hour because I tell them I have a copy of my birth certificate. And they say, oh, that's not good enough. It has to be a certified copy, blue parchment, or a certified copy from the city or county that you're from, which means a righteous citizen that doesn't have exactly what they want gets denied a real ID.
Well, this is the problem. Look, California shouldn't be issuing driver's licenses to illegal aliens. We all agree on that, and it's interesting your experience. I appreciate you sharing it with us, Paul. Thank you. So this is the problem. They've rigged the system in their favor, and it's going to be really, really hard in California to unrig the system. Now, our buddy George in Apple Valley says he disagrees with me. Usually he doesn't disagree with me, but let's ask him why. George, what say you?
Hey, Grant, thanks for putting me on. You know, as far as Gavin Newsom gerrymandering California, I really didn't think it was possible to rig the elections in California for Democrats any further. I have to disagree with Scott in High Desert. I usually agree with everything he says, kind of like you, but I got to push back on Gavin Newsom a little bit. You know, Grant, he is a parody of a politician. Now, if we were living under traditional media, I would be 100% in your corner. But with the podcasters out there, with getting his record out there, you know, Grant, you could make an argument that he is destroying California on purpose. Now, it's not going to be hard to get this message out. It's not going to be hard to go back real quick and put out his COVID response. You remember that. So go ahead.
Yes. So, again, you're coming from the perspective of California that knows this guy intimately. The rest of the country doesn't really know him intimately. They see him in the headlines on the, you know, they got podcasts too, and they got their MSNBCs and CNNs that all these liberal dopes are tuning into. And they're not putting on what I put on this program or Real America's Voice. They're putting on the very opposite. And so it's going to be a battle, I guess, for independence, but I don't know how you're independent anymore. I don't know how you haven't picked a side. But you're coming at it from the perspective of California, George. I'll give you the last word, too, because it's important that you get it in.
No, and he's another millionaire, you know, white guy, so that he's got that going against him. And I just think they're going to be able to put out the information and again, We're going to see what happens. We're going to see who's right. Time and reality is going to prove who's right in this. In a legitimate election, yes, they could rig it, but in a legitimate election, Gavin Newsom is not winning, and we'll see who's right.
Well, I hope you are right, and I'm not saying he's winning the presidency. Thank you, George, for the phone call. I'm not saying he's winning the presidency. What I'm saying is he's going to be one of the toughest foes, if not the toughest foe, for Republicans to beat. Antoinette mentioned AOC. Look, AOC would be a dream. That's the person I want to run against. That's an even dopier Kamala Harris. We would kill to run against AOC in the general election. All right, 855-785-8255. We're going to talk about this lawfare. State Representative David Tangipa coming up next. All right, folks, President Trump said he is poised to quite possibly put a 250% tariff on incoming pharmaceuticals to the United States. So what does that mean? That means you better stock up now. Let's face it, you don't need prescription medications often. But when you do, you better hope you have them. The Wellness Company kit can make sure that you have prescription medications that you'll need in your home. This kit has 8 of the most common prescription medications. There's a Z-Pak in here, amoxicillin. You got ivermectin in here. All kinds of prescriptions that you're going to need. Don't get caught in the cold. God forbid there's a natural disaster. God forbid there's some kind of a cyber attack and drugstores are closing down. And I'll ask you, do you have your prescription medications? You got a child that gets sick. There's a guidebook that leads you in the safe use of all of those prescription medications. Get on board today with the Wellness Company, twc.health/grant. Use the promo code GRANT for 10% off. And again, you want these prescription medications on hand in case of an emergency, but also now with this prospect of a 250% tariff coming down on prescriptions, get in while you still can, while they're still at the price that they are. twc.health/grant. Use that promo code GRANT for 10% off.
But the level of love for that neighborhood, their neighborhoods, was incredible. And you know what? I watch people on television, they want to go, they want to leave. They've lost their spirit, they've lost their heart, because the mayor's incompetent. And Gavin Newsom is incompetent. He's got a good line of but that's about it. He's incompetent.
Well, President Trump sums it up when he says that Gavin Newsom has a good line of bull corn, and that's about it. He sure does. Now, he's taken the fight to Texas in an effort to secure Congress for the Democrats, as Texas takes the fight to try to secure Congress for Republicans. What can we do to stop California, to stop Gavin Newsom, to stop the state legislature from enacting this outrageous move to make an end run around the Constitution, change it so you can redistrict midterm, and put more seats in the hands of Democrats here in California? Well, I spoke with David Tangipa. He is a state assemblyman from Fresno. This guy's a fighter. He's a real conservative fighter. Played football, I think, at Fresno State. He's only 29 years old. But he's got some ideas when it comes to waging lawfare against Gavin Newsom. And I asked him, first off, just how slick Gavin Newsom is when you're dealing with him face-to-face up there in Sacramento. This is part of my interview with him. Assemblyman, let me ask you, and I want your honest opinion here. When I warn the rest of the country about how slick this guy is it a legitimate warning?
It's 100% a legitimate warning. It's only in this state where you can fail upwards all the way. And not only is it Gavin Newsom that failed upwards, Kamala Harris also failed her way all the way to the vice presidency. So yes, you do have to be worried. But what I will say is that there are so many policy failures and issues here in the state of California. This is something that when he said it poked the bear and it woke up, well, Gavin Newsom is about to wake up. The largest Republican Party in the entire United States is right here in California. Yes, we have been beaten down before, but there's a lot of new legislators right now and legislators that are still here ready to fight. And I warned the governor before this came, don't do it. This is not a battle of who can be the worst or who's the best at cheating. We already know Gavin Newsom's pretty good at that already with his track record. But what we're going to do is wake Californians up, wake Republicans up, and wake people up who just want to do the right thing because this governor can't get it right.
Yeah. Most people out there don't know more Republicans voted for Donald Trump in California than any other state in the country. That includes Texas. They're just still wildly outnumbered out there. And I will agree to you. You know, I do radio down in Los Angeles. There are a few real good conservatives, you being one of them, willing to put up a fight there. What can you do? I know you're wildly in the minority in the state assembly, but what can you do to push back against Gavin Newsom in this quest for a special election to redo the Constitution so he can redraw the districts?
Well, as I've stated before, California conservatives are the front lines to combating crazy. And I am more than happy to take the arrows and start paving the way because this state is worth fighting for. So every action that we can do, we will do. And mainly, is that going to be education and exposure? Since we are a super minority in this state, then that's exactly what we're going to do. And I want people to realize that this is going to cost the state of California over $200 million. And Democrats have 100% control in this state. Look how fast that they moved when it came to playing a political game to spending over $200 million and putting a special election on the ballot to do redistricting, something nobody here in California is asking for. But what are they doing to take on the cost of living? What are they doing to take on utilities? What are they doing to take on insurance and the housing crisis here? Our average home in the state of California is over $800,000. That is an average mortgage of over $5,000. That is the average in California. And the governor wants to take on redistricting. If he wants to play politics with people, it's time that we listen to the people and actually start pushing back on this governor.
Agree on all of that. We've got to find a tangible way to stop him. I'm curious. Is it even legal for him to go to the state assembly to call a statewide election? I know other statewide elections, you've got to gather signatures, you got to do all these things. Does the legislature have that power? Are there any loopholes that we could use to hold this up in court and claim it's some illegal action that he's engaging in?
That's actually what we are working on exposing. A lot of these legislators actually have a benefit to drawing more congressional districts. Are they writing this to actually benefit themselves? Do they have some power granted to them because they have the supermajority? Yes. But are they in favoring themselves and benefiting themselves to this legislation? That is a question we're going to ask. And we're going to really expose to a lot of people just how corrupt it is here in California.
All right. And that's the kind of thinking that we need, because even if you lose in court, and you might in California, right? We all know the courts out there. But if you can drag this out and run out the clock, because it's only, a few weeks, a couple months that he has to do this, run this special election by November, correct?
You're exactly right. We actually have to get this done, I believe, within the next 2 weeks, if we're going to have enough time to have an election by November 4th. Again, I'm going to challenge the governor. We here in California, again, he's woken up our bear, the Republican bear here, to actually really push back. So every single channel that we have, we still haven't even seen the proper maps, and yet they've opened for public comment. We haven't even seen anything other than the governor saying and placating that he's taken on this fight. So we're going to challenge him every single step of the way, and we're going to challenge this legislature. But I also challenge the other Californians that are listening right now to join us in this fight. If they want to fight for sanity here in California, if they're tired of being a California refugee, leaving this state, and they want to be a California rebel, they can join us in this as well.
Yeah, they sure can. David Tangipa, I appreciate you coming on. All right, so that's David Tangipa. He is a state assemblyman from Fresno area, doing that interview from Sacramento. Now, he says something interesting, because what we're going to have to do as Republicans is we're going to have to file a lawsuit against this. We're going to have to figure out a way to find why this is illegal. He said, are the Democrat lawmakers benefiting themselves? Are they in favoring themselves? Boy, I think you could make a real argument for that. Now, if you can make an argument in front of a sympathetic judge that you've got Democrat lawmakers passing legislation, changing the Constitution to benefit themselves, that would be illegal to me. Here's the problem. You're going to have to find a judge who's sympathetic to Republicans in California. Good luck with that. I'm not sure that happens anytime soon. But these are the kind of creative ways we need to come up with in order to push back against these Democrats. Let's go back to the phones. Line 1, Steve in Arcadia. Steve.
Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, good morning. Hey, Grant, I agree with you, but I have to put a time limit on it. I think at this moment in time, I think you're absolutely right about Newsom. But I think as we get closer to the campaign season for the presidency, I think those dynamics are going to change. And the competitors, the other guys you mentioned, Moore and Shapiro, they're not just going to roll over for this guy. And I think ultimately he's going to go by the way of the dodo bird, because I do think the American people will get the full story of this guy eventually.
Well, I hope you're right on that. No doubt about it. And thank you so much for the call, Steve. Let me play you one clip from Gavin Newsom. This was his news conference yesterday about redistricting. I think, Dan, let's go to cut 28.
With our state of mind, with the clarity of our purpose and conviction, to recognize that we need to reconcile the world we're living in. We do have agency. We're not bystanders in this world. We can shape the future, and that's what we intend to do today. We're here because Donald Trump, on January 6th, tried to light democracy on fire, tried to wreck this country, tried to steal an election, as Alex just said, by trying to dial in for 11, almost 12,000 votes. And here we are, an open and plain sight.
The only reason
before one vote is cast.
Let's cut him off. The only reason I play that ridiculous nonsense for you is not to give him a platform, but to show you what we are up against. You don't think that some liberal in Virginia is going to buy right into that craziness? When literally we've got emails talking about framing President Trump, from the CIA director to the NSA. You've got Adam Schiff, our senator in California, leaking classified information according to an eyewitness. And Gavin Newsom has the gall, has the cojones to say President Trump was somehow stealing an election. They tried to frame Donald Trump, frame him. But that's what we're up against. Well, folks, it's no secret that I love my Patriot Mobile service. I've been with Patriot Mobile for years now. Service is fabulous, 100% U.S.-based customer service. I was just at the Jason Aldean concert. Guess what? Patriot Mobile, a sponsor of Jason Aldean. Jason Aldean, country music star that literally is outspoken about conservative principles and make America great again principles. These are the kinds of people that Patriot Mobile supports, not to mention the programs to put the 10 Commandments in schools across the country, to put In God We Trust signs in schools across the country, to help veterans, to help with Second Amendment issues, free speech issues, right to life issues. Patriot Mobile and their executives are on the front line, really taking arrows for us. So what I say is switch to Patriot Mobile. A portion of the money they make will go to those causes. And as I said, you'll know you're with a company that believes in the things that we believe in. AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, those guys are funding the woke left. Why you're with them, I have no idea. It takes just minutes to switch. PatriotMobile.com/Grant. PatriotMobile.com/Grant. Use the promo code GRANT for a free month's service. Or you can call them at 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT. And tell them that Grant Stinchfield sent you.
You're a crumb, creep, lush coward.
You don't even know me, Mayor.
You are a lush, I can tell by looking at you. You're a real crumb bum. Put that on camera.
Los Angeles can take a lesson from Washington, D.C. and what President Trump and the federal agents are doing there, cleaning up this city block by block. It is amazing what is happening in D.C. To literally look at how fast President Trump is cleaning up the downtown area. Now, the USA Today comes out and does a hit piece. Oh, D.C.'s highest crime areas have yet to see President Trump's presence in their areas. Well, first off, President Trump made it clear that he was going to clean up the front door of the United States Capitol. And that is getting and removing all the homeless people, all the muggers, the bruisers, the car thieves out of downtown District of Columbia, the capital area. He said he was going to work on that first. That's the image. You remember President Trump's soundbite when you walk into a restaurant? If the front door and the front step is dirty, the whole restaurant's dirty. So he's cleaning up the front step to America. Great. And you know what? There are areas of Washington, D.C. that are seeing the effects of this, that it's working. I'm going to give kudos to the media who interviewed some of these people. Cut one, if we can. Dan the phone man. Cut one.
You hear from city leaders and others that crime is actually down. Are you seeing that?
No, I'm not seeing it. We're seeing carjackings, the violence in the communities. So we were advocating then for the National Guard to come out, but they said there was no need. But think about how many lives could have been saved just having them on the scene.
So this is about perception. Democrats have made a history of lying to your face, and sadly, many Americans just believe these Democrat so-called leaders. It doesn't work when you live in a city like D.C. and you see the crime firsthand. When you've got little kids who put their heads on their pillows at night and go to sleep to gunshots outside. That's not going to work for me in a neighborhood, and it shouldn't work for them. So it is about perception, and I'll tell you this, when the crime rate is in outer space, it's so high, and you just happen to bring the crime rate down to the stratosphere, guess what? The crime rate is still in the stratosphere. It's unattainable to live peacefully in a city like D.C. unless you do something about it. That's what President Trump is doing. And though you have people like Nancy Pelosi and AOC and everybody screaming and yelling about this, the people who live in D.C., poor folks who live in poverty in D.C., say things like this, cut two.
Just today, a young lady was shot over on 15th Street in Northeast D.C. Does that seem like crime gone down? With all the things that are going on with our president, sending the National Guards out, I don't have a problem with that personally, because if MPD can't do it and they need help, then I'm glad they're able to get the help.
So they need help. We know the Metropolitan Police Department needs help. Now, you listen to those people, all right? These are minority folks. I'm sure they voted Democrat, and they voted for leaders who put them in this position, by the way, that President Trump's going to clean up in L.A. Take a lesson from this. Chicago, take a lesson from this. Detroit, take a lesson from this. It can be done in days if you just go enforce the law. But you get Chuck Schumer, the audacity of this guy, the senator from New York who virtually lives in D.C., and this is what he says about D.C. You tell me if it's anything like the poor folks living in D.C.
Sometimes, and take a nice walk as the sun is rising around some of the Capitol and the other monuments and things, and I feel perfectly safe. They're full of it. Look, here's what they've done, Aaron. Plain and simple. Donald Trump wants to distract. That's his game plan.
All right.
It's been his MO for his first term in the presidency.
So they're full of it. He takes a nice stroll in the park at sunrise. Last I checked, Schumer, as the leader of the Democrats in the Senate, has armed security with him. All right, yeah, it's real nice to take a stroll in the park when you got armed Capitol police officers following your every move. Well, guess what? The residents we just played for you don't have that ability, and you've taken away their rights to even carry a firearm with them. Listen to this young D.C. resident, cut 3.
Do you not understand that this is what the residents want? I'm not talking about the bougie upper echelons, bougie blacks. I'm talking about the everyday grandmas that have to deal with these homeless people peeing and pooping on their steps, and then they have to clean it up. They don't feel safe when they walk into their neighborhood. The gangs and the dope boys are just standing around the corner, do you not understand this is what they want? I remember working with a community leader and somebody had just gotten shot. This is like 5 years ago. And I remember her praying and she said, Crystal, we're going to have to invoke the National Guard. And that was so foreign to me.
So there you have someone living it, okay? Welcoming in the National Guard, if not just for the sheer perception and presence of this show of force, of good versus evil versus Chuck Schumer. Do we have the second clip from Chuck Schumer?
And if he went to Congress and said, you know what, there's this crime emergency, we need the National Guard out there longer, we need to take over Washington, D.C., would you grant it?
No way. We'll fight him tooth and nail. And right now, as you said, he can only do it for 30 days, or now I guess it's 26 or 27, whatever. And he needs to get Congress to approve it. And not only are we not going to approve it, but I have there are some Republicans who don't like it either.
All right.
This is, again,
that's enough of him. How dare you? Again, what is it about Democrats? They don't want to listen to the people. Folks, I'll listen to you, 855-785-8255. I'll listen to you all day long. I may not agree. I may go down a different road, but I'm fully willing to listen. Look, earlier in the program, Scott from the high desert, who I normally agree with, I disagree with him, but he's a smart guy. I'm willing to listen to him. These Democrats are not willing to listen. Chuck Schumer, I just played you 3 separate black residents of D.C. who say, please, we need help. It's brutal here. We got loved ones being shot and killed, 3-year-olds killed sitting in a car. Our grandmothers being carjacked and mugged, purses being stolen off the street, stepping over homeless people. Does any of this sound familiar, by the way? It's like Los Angeles I'm describing. And yet Chuck Schumer wants to say no effing way. Is he going to approve the National Guard for another 30 days? Spitting in the face of the people. This is a lesson. It needs to be taken nationwide, far and wide. And we turn this country around. President Trump doesn't need these headaches. But he's taking these headaches on. Why? For the people, Democrats or Republicans. You would never see a Democrat president try to go in and help a Republican city. In fact, you've seen just the opposite. Remember the train derailment in Ohio? They got no help because it was a Republican city. Here's Trump. D.C.'s a Democrat city, man. And here's Trump doing everything he can do to help them. Boy, oh boy. Is it bad I get fired up? I start to really. You know, I was talking with the CEO of Patriot Mobile last night, and his son said that he hated somebody. And we were talking about, boy, hate's a really strong word. And you know, hatred you shouldn't have it. But I said, unless he was talking about Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer. Because I really think I hate these people. I really do. I hate them because they're destroying America, these great American cities right before our eyes. People like Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom, I hate them. But that isn't right. I need to calm down. I cannot have hate, despise. I don't know. Am I wrong on this? It's bad to hate, right? I don't know.
I am going to start pushing for a single stock trading ban because it is the credibility of the House and the Senate that you look at some of these eye-popping returns, whether it's Representative Pelosi, Senator Wyden. Every hedge fund would be jealous of them, and you know, the American people deserve better than this. People shouldn't come to Washington to get rich. They should come to serve the American people.
That's the Treasury Secretary talking about members of Congress getting rich. Nancy Pelosi, the top of the list on that, by the way. Do you know over the last 3 years, according to the app called Autopilot, Nancy Pelosi is up 180%. She's beat every major index. She's beat every major hedge fund. She's the number one trader in the world. Now, I'm not sponsored by Autopilot. They don't pay for any commercials. But, man, I'm signing up because what it allows you to do is follow these different lawmakers, and it shows you their returns. She's up 180% over 3 years. If you were doing year to year following Nancy Pelosi, according to Autopilot and the guys over there, and I know the CEO, you'd be up 54% if you followed Autopilot. Now consider this. Autopilot is 30 days behind Nancy Pelosi because Nancy Pelosi and other members of Congress have a 30-day window to report their trades. So even 30 days behind, you would be up 54%. So I'm thinking to myself, why wouldn't I take some of my cash, hook it up to that? I mean, it sounds to me like you can't lose following Nancy Pelosi. And she does some wild trades, too, by the way. She says her husband handles all of it, and she's not involved. But here's what I would like to see when it comes to trading in Congress. You need to put your stock holdings into a blind trust, and then that trust can be run. For instance, I've got a Fidelity account that's a privately managed account. I don't have any say in it. I sign off basically my rights to them. They have the account with X amount of money in it. They trade the account for me. They do it. Now, I have another account at Fidelity. I can buy and sell whatever I want, but that's a managed account by Fidelity. I would like every member of Congress to put their money in that if they're going to be in the stock market. I don't think members of Congress should be trading on inside information. The Stock Act of 2011 made that illegal, but the teeth are virtually non-existent. So members of Congress continue to do it. The Stock Act was a nothing bill. And I will say, I'm very proud. It's one of the things that I was instrumental in getting passed. I was running for Congress at the time, ultimately doing radio in Dallas, and worked very hard with some with some members of Congress that I was friends with to get the Stock Act pushed through. But it's still, they watered it down. You've got to put a total ban unless it's in a blind trust. That's just me. All right. So Democrats have a knack.
The Morning Answer.
Yes, it is. The Democrats have a knack of offering up some awful candidates. Now, I just told you why Gavin Newsom, I think, is one of their best options because he's so slick. I think he's going to resonate with the white female liberal. Dangerous. You ever seen a white female liberal in the wild? Run the other way. Boy, they're dangerous creatures. But they also have a knack of offering up some very bad candidates. Kamala Harris was one of them. There's a guy running for governor in South Carolina. This guy Mullins. Well, apparently he starts using the N-word. He thinks he's Superman. He thinks he's God, and he's running down the street naked in Charleston, South Carolina. I think we have some audio of him inside the police cruiser after he's been arrested. Roll it.
I'm one of the most just humans to ever walk.
Okay, just
this
human.
soil.
Tell me your name.
I'm just human.
Okay, well, we tried. We've all tried.
I tell you what, you got to give me a name. Give me Superman sounds good. I'm Superman.
John Doe.
No, you know what, John Doe's fine.
Okay.
John Doe's fine. I don't give a.
All right.
Just get these shackles off of me. And one of those voices is going to be Rosa. You know what Rosa's going to do? She's going to say, "Hey, Alan Wilson, who is your biological father? Would you please share that? Hey, Nancy, right now, because I promised that I would not do this once I started this campaign. Because I can't do this once I started a campaign. You better tell the world right now that what you did in the wall of Congress was the greatest sin ever committed in the history of this nation."
These guys got to calm down.
So this guy's running for governor in South Carolina as a Democrat, of course. I believe he was naked when he was picked up on the streets. Okay? Now, they say some wild, crazy things. Maybe we need to feel sorry for him because he's on something. But here's what he's not going to be on. He's not going to be on a campaign trail for very long because this guy just lost his race for the governor in South Carolina. Not that a Democrat was going to win in that state. We got one more clip from him, Dan.
I think that's the only one we have now.
That was the only one. Yeah. All right. He goes on. He uses the N-word. You heard him talk about being Superman there. Some wild claims. So this, again, is who Democrats want to offer up. And they want to offer up guys like that or cut 29, guys like this.
So that's what this is about. It's not complicated. We're doing this in reaction to a president of the United States that called a sitting governor of the state of Texas and said, find me 5 seats. We're doing it in reaction to that act. We're doing it mindful of our higher angels and better angels. We're doing it mindful that we want to model better behavior, as we've been doing for 15 years in the state of California with our independent redistricting commission. But we cannot unilaterally disarm. We can't stand back and watch this democracy disappear. We can't stand back and watch this democracy disappear district by district all across this country, not just in Texas, but in Missouri, where J.D. Vance went just a week ago, in Indiana, in places like Ohio, in places like Florida. We need to stand up, not just California. Other blue states need to stand up.
So who was spewing more nonsense? The South Carolina governor candidate or Gavin Newsom? Because though the South Carolina guy was incoherent, I think Gavin Newsom was incoherent. Higher and better angels? What is he talking about, higher and better angels? I don't understand. I don't know if he meant to say dismocracy or democracy is disappearing, but dismocracy, it was kind of a funny word. But does he even know what he's saying about dismocracy? No. They speak in these platitudes with all of these fancy words. It is meant to daze and confuse you. And as I mentioned, this is like the bird call to the white liberal woman. Walking down the street. They'll look at him and they'll flash their feathers and they'll come flocking to him. You'll see. Gavin Newsom is literally the bird call to the white female liberal, the most dangerous creature that walks the face of the planet.
We're doing it mindful that we want to model better behavior, as we've been doing for 15 years in the state of California.
Yes, that's it right there. All right. All right, folks. That's going to do it for us today, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Stinchfield's Army Rolls. Don't forget to like, save, share, copy, paste, tweet this out, post it on X, your Facebook, everywhere you can. Spread the word of this podcast. That's what it's about. Stinchfield's Army. We do this together. God bless every single one of you. We'll see you on the Real America's Voice show tonight at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, every Monday through Friday. Stinchfield's Army Rolls. We'll see you soon.